We're live. Hello, everyone, and shout out to each and every one of you as you tune up into the building with your girl Siren on the Siren Speak Show. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Okay. Shout out to y'all and happy. What day is it, y'all? Okay, it's Monday. Okay, it is in fact Monday. It's Monday. Okay. So hello, you guys, and happy Monday. Okay. Y'all, we are going to be talking about, according to the title, your frequency and how it is the new money. Okay. Also how to raise your vibration, you guys. A lot of people need to understand if you are trying to live in the energy of wealth and abundance, you need to understand what wealth and abundance is. A lot of us think that wealth and abundance is, money. Okay, you can have all the money in the world and have no wealth or have no abundance. Okay, money is a physical, tangible item that, has been influenced, okay, or programmed to represent something more larger than what it actually is. It is actually a physical, tangible representation of your natural frequency. Okay, so we definitely want to make sure that we are connecting, right, to the right energy. So when I was pulling up like information or tapping into messages to see what's up with the collective, to see why it is that we are experiencing such, financial for a long time too. It's not like this is something new. This is something that has been going on for quite some time, y'all. I'm like, what the? It's just time for us to stand up. We have to fight that with our frequency. Honestly, I'm telling you, your ashe is the money. Okay. You definitely are going to have to take on some sort of measure so that you can increase your vibration. Now, for those of you, I always say this. For those of you who have worked with spiritual candies, and you guys know when you do the work, when you work on your frequency, you already know change your frequency, change the experience. We have seen that. Okay. We have experienced that. Y'all, it's like times 10 now. Okay, it is literally times 10. Change your frequency, change your experience for real. This is the time where we are going to have to work on our frequency. Okay, it's spell work versus shadow work. Okay, there are those out there who will do spells to manifest or to manipulate, okay, the frequencies so that they can receive or experience a physical or tangible item, okay, or reality. But it's going to get to the point where it is getting to the point, shall I say, it has gotten to the point where that no longer works. Hence, Free Diddy. Okay. The manipulation spells that has been cast upon, the collective, they no longer work. Okay. All of that spell work, all of those rituals, honey, this is why we're seeing a lot of people fall. We're seeing a lot of wealthy people that are just because those CEOs, they were in those positions due to allegedly, okay? A lot of those CEOs and powerful people were in those positions due to spell work. Those actual positions are supposed to be for those of you. Now, I just want to talk a little bit, at the side of my neck, okay? Because this is just Siren speaking on the Siren Speak Show. That's it. Okay. Y'all, side note, okay, sidebar, whatever they call it. I think they call it sidebar, okay? So I was like, I've been seeing quite a few people that are saying that there are, ever since, Emu and Oompa Loompa got in the seat, that those who are of Caucasian, okay, heritage or background feel like they chests feel kind of big, and not all of them, but I'm saying a large number of them have found it to be very bold with coming out with how they feel in regards to looking at maybe another race as beneath or below. And y'all, I don't, I don't have a problem with someone who feels the need to be, you know, the R word. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I think that it is very healthy for them to express it. I think there are healthier ways for them to express it. You know, I don't like pork, okay? But I'm not gonna go and sit in front of everybody who eats pork and be like, you pig, you're disgusting, you're this, you're there's a way to say, hey, I just prefer not to eat. Y'all can eat all the pork y'all want. I don't want none. You know what I'm saying? When I went out to eat the other day, Bay and I, we went for breakfast and they walked past me with the most, that plate of bacon. Child, I had a plate of bacon. My eyes followed it. I was like, I followed that plate of bacon as it walked past me because the smell, ooh, it was taking me back in my day. It was taking me back in my day, right? But I don't backslide. I'm not backsliding on that right there. Okay. I'm like, no, we're gonna let that go. So, anywho, y'all, I just got into like a little, I went in my head on it a little bit. And because one thing I have experienced. I'm not gonna say I do know for a fact. I'm gonna say one thing I have experienced, okay, is if I do feel like Caucasian women feel entitled. Okay, I'm not saying all Caucasian women, but what I'm saying is those who I have come in contact with, in stories that I have heard from others who have come in contact with it, they do tend to feel a little entitled, like, "Ugh, like you don't see me here." You know what I'm saying? I understand there's five, melanated women in front of me, but I'm here. You know, so I was wondering, and when it comes to most Caucasian males that I have come in contact with, I'm just speaking from my experience, okay? If they are on a job interview and they see like five like melanated males that are waiting to be interviewed, it almost feels as if they think that, okay, I know I got this because there's not another Caucasian male, so you know and then the person who's interviewing is, so I know, you know what I'm saying? Almost that feeling of entitlement. And not just that, when you think of the history that is written in the books, okay, about them, like, damn, if that was our history, like, I would be embarrassed. I would be like, wow, we did some dumb stuff, like hanging and barbecuing people and taking pictures with the remains, like that's really up in the head. That's it's not that, y'all, how could they do that? I would look at my ancestors and be like, wow. But the thing about it is that we are one. That's what kept coming up in my head was we are one. And let's just say, what if? Let's say this, what if? Because I was wondering, why do they feel so entitled? Why do they get everything? Like, they and I were driving through a town, literally maybe about 5 miles from where we are, 5 or 6 miles from where we are. And this town here, predominantly Caucasian. Okay. And I know they always find their little towns where they go and they support. Okay. They go and they support, and you don't really see no other. I mean, no other. I'm talking not Asian, not African American, not Indian. It's just, I'm gonna say 99%. And they all out there, and it was like a little park. Because Bay and I go over there, we get like, that's where our pizza place is. So we go over there, we get pizza, but they just all happy go lucky and skipping and all this stuff. Everybody is out, and they having, I think, a St. Patrick's Day celebration. They do a lot of little things over there or whatever. Anywho, it's just that you see them. But the minute you see us walk up and through, they looking like, grab your kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? Why do you feel so threatened, and so entitled? And I'm still asking this question. And y'all, what I got back, because this is Siren speaking on the Siren Speak show. And like I said, I'm about to talk out the side of my neck. Okay. What I got back was, what if bodies are just an avatar? You know how when you get ready to play a video game, you can choose whatever character you want to be. If you want to be the damn dinosaur, you can be the dinosaur. Because I said, allegedly, Caucasians were just created, maybe according to some books that I've seen, maybe about 2,000 years ago, roughly, right? Because the history as it goes back, it was all melanated beings. So, what was the need for the Caucasian race, right? Body, shall I say? I don't think it's a race, it's just a body. What was the need for the Caucasian avatar? So, in Siren's world, some of us, okay, back in the diggity day, decided to come up with a cult. Kind of like the Masons, the Eastern Star, Skull and Bone, like that, right? Came up with a cult and was like, yo, let's create this body that they're not going to recognize us. We can get over on them. We can manipulate them. We can enslave them because they're going to think we're different. And what we're going to do is trick them, get all of their money. They're not going to know. They're not going to feel like, we're family or we are one. They're going to feel different. They will never know. It comes up as if it may be some sort of manipulated agenda or trick to get over. Because y'all know how we are in our own community. Y'all know we are one community that do not stick together. Y'all know that. Okay? And if you get out, we mad, we got to pull you back. Y'all know, because y'all see it everywhere we go. So I'm like, these avatars were created to manipulate this dimension so that there can be control. Now, I don't know if I think it was on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I really, truly do. I feel like it was on purpose. So I feel like even though that's a Caucasian avatar, I do feel like melanated beings are behind it. In it, shall I say. That's just the avatar that they chose because they know in this dimension, that avatar from whoever programmed it, that avatar may be the avatar that gets, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm going to say about that. Just be careful who you pray to. Be careful who you look up. We got a lot. We got, Tahuti, we got Ra, we got, a lot of Orisha out here. We got a lot of names that are called. Do your research on a lot of these names that, we got Horus, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are praising and idolizing some entities that I'm like,